What's going on, everybody? It's legionofgamer.com, Centurion1307. Today we are going to talk about a very serious problem that seems to be occurring over and over again in the gaming industry. The aggregate website Metacritic is having an unintended effect on the games we play. If you don't know what Metacritic is by now, I will tell you real quick. They take the reviews in that are all over the internet from the top game reviewers. They combine them all into an average of a point system that ranges from 0 to 100. Before we get too deep into the full consequences, let's stop and talk about this point system real quick. This point system is a sliding scale. It can go anywhere from a 0.5 all the way to a 1.5 depending on the popularity of the website. Now, who gets to decide the popularity of the websites? Where's the vote in that? From what I've read and what the algorithm can be, because Metacritic will not release the actual algorithm, it seems that they group together these game reviewers into tiers. Each tier is assigned a point system. The more popularity your website has, in Metacritic's opinion, the bigger the point system to your tier. As a result of this sliding scale tier system, the little guys have little to no say on a game's actual Metacritic score. The scores are very heavily influenced by the top sites that seem to push an agenda. Before you think I'm crazy and going off on some conspiracy theories about these agendas, let's take a look at the recent release of Days Gone. Both Kotaku and IGN both had to comment on not only the gender but also the race of the main character in Days Gone. Now, I know our world is full of problems, but I play video games to escape the harsh realities of the world that we live in. Please don't think at all that I am not sympathetic to what goes on in our world every day. Game journalists, for some reason though, believe that there's a Pulitzer Prize somewhere out there by bringing world issues into our game reviews. By bringing in their politics and their personal banter into their gaming reviews, the top gaming sites can bring down the Metacritic score for a game considerably just by trying to push their personal agenda. This brings us around to the big problem that Metacritic is creating unintentionally in the gaming world. Game publishers are relying very heavily on these Metacritic scores and the data they provide. They're treating it more like a credit score. You know how it works. When your credit's low, you don't get a loan. The loan I'm talking about is when a developer goes to a publisher to negotiate for the money they need to create a game. From what's starting to happen is these publishers are asking the developer, what's your recent Metascores? No matter how good the idea is, most of the time, they get rejected if they have a low Metascore rating. If by some chance the publisher is interested in what the developer is proposing, they will then use the Metacritic data to negotiate the royalties that the developer will receive over time. If the game is released with a low Metascore, that will lessen the amount of royalties that the developer will make off the game. A royalty is a percentage that they make off of every game that is sold, both physically and digitally. If the Metascore is too low, the publisher will actually try to withhold all royalties from the developer. If there is an agreement in making the game, Metascore still applies. They will give them a target range, anywhere from 85 to 95 depending on the publisher. They will put bonuses in place to make sure that they hit this score, otherwise they don't see this bonus. Back in 2015 at the DICE conference, Warren Spector talked about 3 words that majorly affected his career. They were legacy, mentor, and Metacritic. As a result of putting such a heavy influence on this Metacritic score, we're not getting games for fans, we're getting games that drive Metacritic score. The Metacritic score is driven by gaming websites, not fans, so they are trying to get their bonuses so they can feed their families. They're also trying to drive this score so they continue making games. Nobody will want to deal with them if their Metascore is too low. If you get a game reviewer that is having a bad day or a political or personal problem with your product, you can count on getting a bad Metascore. An example of this is what is going on today. Today is the release of Rage 2. It is currently sitting at a 71. If you didn't know, Bethesda does not get along with game reviewers. They were just involved in an online banter with Paul Tassi from Forbes. This individual is known to pull some punches in his journalism, and he was taking a couple of digs at their marketing for Rage 2. As a result, the Rage 2 Twitter just simply tweeted him back just one simple phrase: LOL, who even are you? With their beef with the gaming media, Bethesda has blackballed Kotaku. And who else wanted to chime in on that? Kotaku. A journalist from Kotaku wanted to write a piece on the Forbes incident, and in the piece he compared Bethesda to Donald Trump. I don't get involved in politics, but this sounded political and personally motivated to do this. This is why I'm going to take the Metascore rating of Rage 2 with a grain of salt. I know not all the journalists are doing this, but I am sure there is a small percentage of them that have made this personal and are deliberately giving it bad scores. To prevent bad scores on Metacritic, developers will employ people to come in and write fake reviews for the game. Now, by fake, I mean that they come in and pre-review the game so that way they can make changes, so that way they can prevent a bad review from occurring on Metacritic. These fake reviewers are not allowed to release an actual review of the game to affect Metacritic score. Metacritic reviews everything from technology to movies, but for some reason gaming is the only industry that relies this heavily on their opinion. So we need to stop this in its tracks before it gets too crazy out there with everybody relying on this Metacritic data. Again, I've said it, I'm going to say it again. They are not creating games for fans. They are creating games for Metacritic score. This is not true for all instances, I am sure, but this will definitely prevent smaller game companies from ever getting their name out there. There is plenty of well-established, reputable individuals on YouTube that will provide a way better gameplay / review than you could ever dream of in reading an article. YouTube is becoming the place to be for a good gaming review done by professional individuals who are passionate about gaming. As long as we keep feeding the beast, Metacritic is going to influence the games we love to play. We need to put our foot down with gaming journalists that want to tell us how we should feel about something. We should also stop letting Metacritic dictate how people get paid and influencing their lives. Metacritic says they are completely washing their hands of this situation. They have no problem with it, as everybody loves to flock to their website to get these numbers. Please let me know down in the comments, how do you feel about this? Do you feel Metacritic is influencing the game industry as I do, or are you completely fine with Metacritic and what they're doing? I know Metacritic did not intend for this to happen, but they are also part of the problem in how they created their point system. Until they treat reviewers equally, there is always going to be an imbalance in the numbers. Thank you for tuning in to the Legion of Gamer channel. I am Centurion 1307, and I want you to have yourself a great day.